What does this mean for U.S.-Turkey relations?
It's really the latest blow to what has been a historic alliance. Turkey, obviously a NATO partner, longtime ally. One of the key countries helping the U.S. build the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter. That participation now at risk. The Pentagon has already said it was preparing to wind down Turkey's participation in the F-35 program. What we're waiting to see now is if this latest acceptance of the S-400 missile defense system from Russia, which the U.S. says could target the F-35, whether that's going to result in much stronger sanctions against Turkey. The Pentagon is likely to issue some sort of a statement, I think, on this. And in Congress, there's been bipartisan support or bipartisan frustration over Turkey's actions. I think this is only going to stoke that frustration.
Bill, Marty here in New York. Does anybody have a clue what Erdogan's game is here? Is he trying to get closer or further away from NATO and the United States?
Well, what we hear from Turkey is that they're still committed to NATO, but obviously this kind of action flies in the face of that. I think we're in a time where a lot of countries are questioning whether some of their historic alliances are, giving them are as valuable as they were in the past. I think we've seen Erdogan cozying up quite a bit more to Russia and to Vladimir Putin in particular. And I think politically he's obviously facing a lot of domestic challenges. So at some level, he may feel like this helps him either domestically or within his own party, particularly after he had that pretty devastating loss in the Istanbul mayor's race just recently. So I think it's hard to know what's going on in Erdogan's brain right now, but this is something that's been talked about for over a year. The U.S. has been working to try to get them to rethink this approach, and it just hasn't worked.
How much blowback is Turkey getting from NATO? I mean, this is supposed to be a strategic defense alliance. Every country takes care of every other country. If it looks like he's cozying up to Russia, which is the country we're all protecting each other from mostly, right? Are the other NATO allies, starting to put Erdogan under some heat on this?
There's just widespread frustration. Turkey has always been kind of the problem child in NATO. You go back all the way to their invasion of Cyprus back in the 70s, which caused a real splinter within NATO. I think this is, since that episode, the most serious thing to happen within the alliance. There's not a very clear process for expelling or leaving the NATO alliance, but this is the kind of event that's going to cause a lot of countries to think maybe we need to start looking at that.
Bill, I guess the next step on this is coming from the White House and what Donald Trump decides to do about it. Is that right?
Right. It's obviously already been a pretty busy day for Donald Trump in the White House, a lot of things going on. I think we're going to wait to hear probably from the Pentagon, but this is the kind of a thing, it's a close ally, a NATO ally, a business partner when you look at the F-35. This is the kind of thing you'd expect the White House, the National Security Council, Pentagon, and State Department, even perhaps the Treasury Department to all be weighing in on. And sometimes that process just takes a little while, but I think we'll start getting reaction pretty shortly.